a leadership has taken over the treasury, political leadership. Do you think that culture will persist? It will last, or do you think it's threatened under the current leadership?
It's you can tell from how I've adjusted how I'm sitting that it's an uncomfortable question. No, let me answer your question, Prof, in this way. Any culture that is founded on good values and good principles does not get threatened easily. Usually such a culture, if anything, is a threat to those who come and join in, because they will feel out of place. And when I make that comment, I'm not insinuating anything about the new people. I'm just telling you what theoretically, and I suspect practically makes sense. It would be hard to get the DDGs amongst whom the youngest, or the one who has served the shortest time at the Treasury would be about 8 years minimum, right? To all of a sudden just change such people and, for an example, make them not to think that the Constitution matters. To make them not to think that adhering to the Public Finance Management Act matters. To rewire them so that they think that sound fiscal management belongs to the dustbin. It's just, I don't want to say it's impossible for it to happen, but it is hard to imagine it happening. And I must say, most of the things that we have been made to internalize as an institution are not just good for us as individuals. Today I was in a committee in Parliament, and I made this point, which often gets lost in translation, about our relationship, the relationship between what we do and how our country is rated by rating agencies, which was this point, that the things that rating agencies want happen to be the things that we as South Africans think are good for ourselves. And therefore, it's a beautiful coincidence that as South Africans, we wouldn't want to indebt our country to a point where it ends up on an IMF program, right? The rating agencies would frown at us when our debt ratios look bad. Huh? Rating agencies, or as South Africans, we want our economy to grow and grow fast, grow in a way that creates opportunities for business, big and small, in ways that create work opportunities for work seekers, young and old, so that you can improve the distribution of income. Rating agencies also care about those things, because a growing economy delivers revenues which allow a country to be able to fund its operations without indebting itself. So why would we have a problem with that? So I'm saying therefore, sometimes when people look at things and look at an institution like ours, look from outside, from a distance, it's as though we, as some would say, we care a lot about rating agencies. No, it may happen in the articulation that we sound like that. We care a lot about our country and our people. We want to make sure that the current generation does not bequeath to future generation a country that is so indebted that it loses its fiscal sovereignty. Because once you are on an IMF program, then your policies are not made by the so-called policymakers. The parliamentarians would just go there symbolically. They would be paid almost for nothing, because the budget has got to be now drawn in a way that meets the requirements of the lender. Because when you are on a program, you now get told that thou shalt do 1, 2, 3, and not ABC. You don't want to put yourself in that situation. Better impose tougher discipline on ourselves rather than have that discipline imposed on us, so that we have the flexibility. We know our history, and we've got a vision of the South Africa we want to create. Can be known better by someone, I say this with the greatest of respects, from Washington. So then we must conduct our business, manage our affairs in a way that doesn't expose us to that possibility. And those are the things that drive us. Those are the things that have made it a point that the culture that we have in our institution is deeply entrenched. Does that mean that we're always right? I usually add this no. But we believe a lot in what we think is good for South Africa, that unless and until